a sign that my axle is bad. This is in neutral. Hear the crunch? It won't even turn. Oh. Yeah, this thing is... That's bad. So, yeah, I can't even spin it with my hand. It's just like it's like a ratchet. You just feel it catching in spots. Here's our other drum on the other side, and oh, we have the carnage here. Yeah, she is full of diff oil. Hey guys, it's Bill. Welcome to FlatBroke Garage. If you're new, thanks for checking me out. If you're a regular, appreciate you following along. And if you're a subscriber, you are the best. I appreciate it. Today, we got my 64 Comet Cyclone in the shop. If you follow the channel at all or Hot Rod Guy Garage, you'll see my buddy Russ put an AOD in this car because I don't know how. And if you put an AOD in wrong, you screw up your trans pressures, TV cable, any of that nonsense, and you smoke a $3,000 transmission. I don't want to do that. However, I am willing to watch, learn, and pay somebody to do it. So, him having a hoist and the knowledge and all that, I figured I'd send it over to him. There'll be a link down below in the description of the video where he did the AOD swap in this car if anybody's interested in doing an AOD swap in these cars. It's not just a bolt-in, switch-o, change-o. There's a lot to it, and I'm glad I didn't do it. But while he was under the car, he checked out a few things, and that one thing that was really bad is my axle seal was plugged up with mud daubers, those little wasps that pack mud in the holes.
There's some interesting things, I think. So let's just do a general walk around in here. Yes, it does have rust. Not every car, guys, has to be a solid old car. It looks like he's put in some panels here and there. Looks like it needs some panels here and there. We got some leaky things going on at the transmission lines. They're probably just loose. Axle seals on that side. Looks like our carrier and stuff's leaking on this side. So we got an axle seal starting on this side. And I'm going to guess that this vent right here is probably stopped up, considering it's pushing fluid out of every seal on the rear end. Let's pull this rear end vent out and see if it is stopped up. I don't know if you can see up in the vent tube here where it was broken off. I done removed the other piece, but we have a mud dauber nest completely plugged. And if it stops up, it's going to blow all your seals out of your rear end, or at least make it leak.
Well, they had packed so much mud into the vent tube of this car that it had plugged that up and built up enough pressure to blow all the axle juice out of the axle seals, pinion seal, and it's really not a good thing. There was any hardly diff fluid left in there. So Russ finished the car up. He topped it off with diff fluid, telling me it's going to need brakes, all kinds of stuff. He drove it back to 40 miles between his place and mine. I drove the car for a while, and it now has a vibration, a wicked vibration. I think it's a pinion bearing. Or could be the drive shaft is out of balance, but it wouldn't get worse. It would just stay the same. So here's my dilemma. I could pull this rear end apart where the ring and pinion probably got really hot. They're blued. They're probably not the best. Bearings are probably cooked because of no oil. Fix all that. Or my buddy Bobby, who also owns a 64 Comet, actually changed his rear end and went to a 9-inch rear because these cars are stocked with an 8-inch rear. And he just passed his 8-inch rear end on to me. So I think we're going to go with his well-maintained rear end, and we're going to take this one out and switch my brakes around and make this car a driver. I got a couple events coming up this car needs to be on, and I've just procrastinated. I procrastinate on everything. I got a rear end. Let me show you what I got. We're going to get this up in the air, get the rear end swapped, and hopefully back on the road today. So there we go. Kind of freshened up. Like I said, it's a 4 to 8-inch rear end. I believe it's a 300 or 325 gear. I'm not 100% sure. It's nothing radical, but a good highway gear. Thing could actually use a 350 gear with a AOD transmission in it. That's future me's problem. It spins good. There's no grinding, clunking. There's not a lot of slop or backlash in the center section. So I'm going to call it good. Also, too, if you notice sitting here next to me, this is a hideaway headlight setup for a 7071 Torino. Everything here, the vacuum lines and all that. So Torino stuff going on in the background. I'm going to get this thing up in the air. We're going to get this thing dropped off. Hopefully rear end swapped. I'm going to see if my rear brakes are savable. If not, we're going to have to redo all the rear brakes. And get this thing done. See if that takes care of my vibration. If not, it's drive shaft time. Either way, drive shaft has to come out. So let's see what we got. All right, wheels and tires are off. Let's explore the carnage together. This was all new. Like I said, 18 years ago, we put the rear unibody frame sections in. I put the leaf springs in, all new brake lines, all new brakes, new seals. I got a feeling we're going to need a lot of brake clean for this. So let's get these off and take a look. Really, this side ain't bad at all. We can just brake clean up this side. I mean, brake drums are a little bit wet. Seal is shot. But we're going to take all these backing plates off. They are going to go on the new axle because the other car has disc brakes. And he kept those, damn him. So, all right, let's get this other side pulled off. Here's our other drum, the other side, and we have the carnage here. Yeah, she is full of diff oil. Definitely gonna, I don't know if we can clean these up. We're gonna have to get new shoes. But this side's definitely blown. Yeah. All right, get her apart. All right, well, hopefully these brake lines will come loose. Everything has been updated. I got some, my buddy Mike sent me this stuff called loose juice, I guess they make. I'm trying it in a couple of videos, and I'm gonna spray down all the goo while we're under here. I know we probably shouldn't reuse the U-bolts, but I can't get any right now because I live in Turtletown, Tennessee. And there's not a lot in Turtletown, Tennessee. But we should be able to get those reused. Let's see if the lines come loose. Yeah, they're new lines. I figured we'd be okay, so I'm just going to pull these backing plates off and clean them up in like a bowl, because my place is a mess anyways. I'm going to take the new vent tube loose that my buddy Russ just put in here. He really got that tube on there, so there we go. All right, with the brake lines off, all we got to do is take the backing plates off. We can set those off to the side. You see there's a nut in there and a hole in the axle, so you basically take that nut off. So I got the first nut off, and here's a sign that my axle is bad. Hear the crunch? It won't even turn. Oh, yeah, this thing is... That's bad. So yeah, I can't even spin it with my hand. It just like it's like a ratchet. You just feel it catching in spots. Oh, come on, turn. Wow. Oh, this is bad. All right, and then with the 4 bolts out, you can pull your axle out. And actually, this bearing isn't crunchy or bad, but yeah, you know, it ain't pretty in there. Let's get the other side out. All right, all I have left to do now is take the shock bolts off, get these U-bolts off, and try and muscle this thing out from under the car. Now, of course, it is full of 90 weight now, so this stuff is probably going to go everywhere. We'll try not to make too much of a mess, but all this, like I said, is fairly new. It's just coming right off. I don't know if we're going to be able to get these U-bolts off with this little ratchet, but you can try. Just curious to see if this little hand ratchet from Harvey Air Freight will break these things loose and get these off. Oh, there we go. Look at that. That's pretty cool. It worked. There we go. Harbor Freight for the win with the ratchet. I'm pretty... And with that off, see if we can pry this shock plate off. There we go. The rest of the washers are dropping. And all these rubber insulators, they were new too. Well, like I said, new meaning probably 16, 17 years ago, but we'll see how they look when they come out. I'm going to clean up all the U-bolts again and probably, I don't know, a little OCD, paint the leaf springs, but since how that rear end looks so nice, you know, might as well. We're here. It's apart. Go get a bigger pry bar, but I hate to keep climbing it. It's working. There we go. Here is our spring insulator. The U-bolts. So we get those cleaned up. There we go. That side of the axle is loose, baby. That's awesome. All right, rinse and repeat on the other side. We'll be right back. Well, everything is detached from the rear end, and it's just sitting on the leaf springs. It's sitting there because it's heavy, and I'm on my back. So it's not going to be fun. I'm going to see if I can lift it. There we go. Off this perch. I can swing this side down. Now I do got rags shoved in here because Russ did fill this up with 90 weight. So if I can, oh boy, this thing's heavy. Pick this up. And here it comes. Oh. slide that down. Let's see if I can get on the outside. Pick it up. Oh, or just let it drop on the floor. Oh man, this thing. Oh, here comes the 90 weight. There we go. Whew. I put a thing in there and it's still leaking. Stop leaking. All right. 890 weight. Not too bad, little drippage, but slide the boat anchor out of here and get everything cleaned up. I'm not really a show car kind of guy, as you can see by how my car looks underneath. I should clean this thing and undercoat it. Yet here we are. But what I am going to do, just sheer peer pressure. We're gonna at least paint the leaf springs. These were all shiny brand new leaf springs, like I said, many years ago. But we're gonna clean them up, paint them, wipe the shocks down just so it looks a little bit better. You know, I mean, it's a driver. And like I said, we're gonna clean our U-bolts up. Look out, SEMA, here I come. I don't know why I'm doing this. Should clean my brand new gas tank off from all the 90 weight gooed under there. Like I said, the SEMA judges will be all over this thing, so we got to get her all cleaned up. All right, here comes the not so fun part. It's probably why my back hurts. I'm going to pick this 8-inch up and set it down on the ground, oh so carefully. And we can try and slide it under, get one end up and the other end up. I just got to gently put it down on the ground. Gently. Crushed many cell phone screens doing this. At least I'm thinking ahead. Be sure it goes the right way. It's on the ground. We'll just kick it underneath and put one end up at a time and still got it. I'm gonna pay for it tomorrow. But I got it. So much for the shiny black paint job. Dang if these things ain't heavy. Floor jack probably would have been a better move. Whew. Got her on there. Get my lower plates on, get the U-bolts on, get that thing sitting on those pins. Huh. The heavy lifting's over. Should I have got new U-bolts? Probably, because they have been torqued once. They're not that old and they're not that wore out. So I'm budget building this. Not going to be getting a 9-second quarter mile time, so not too concerned with torque and tearing these U-bolts up and all that sort of stuff. Even the rear brakes, you guys are going to say I should have cleaned them better, took it all apart. I'm actually going to be upgrading this to disc brakes. They just have not shown up yet, and I ordered them to do this video, and they're not here, and I want to drive this car and definitely find out what my vibration problem is, so we can add those in another video. Got that lined up. I'm going to go get that ratchet, start running them down. I am going to torque them down with more than a 3/8 ratchet. So everything's lined up. Yeah, no, sweet. All right, so we're just going to run these up. Kind of get them brought into position. And then we're going to torque them down with a torque wrench. Be sure everything's lining up. There we go. There we go. Throw on the shock and drive shaft. We'll throw our brakes back on. And vroom, vroom. This is why we can't use impact guns. Too long. All right, well, we got most of it together. I got that whole other side done. I got the brake lines on. I got to pull this axle and get the backing plate on with the brakes. All right, well, luckily I got my axle puller in there. That thing's still pretty snug. I got the bolts out that hold it in, but there we go. The axles are just pressed in there, so it's good it just doesn't fall out too. Man, you got tools that you don't use them forever. I had to dig for this thing. You can see it's rusty. Boy, they sure are handy to have when you need them. I don't know. Let's get this axle out. It looks nice and clean. Spins really good. And look, there's no gravy on these axles. Other axles look like they got some kind of a turkey gravy on it. There we go. Just get one kind of in a holding it, and I got to get that brake line lined up on the back side. Just set that there so it doesn't fall off. Like I said, while it's all loose, it's easier to jiggle that brake line around. Get her to start. It's always easier when you can jiggle these brake lines around, because I am the king of cross-threading stuff. Mother Nature's Loctite. Let's see, did it start or did it cross-thread? That's the fun part. Let's roll the dice, see what we got. I think we got it. Yeah, it feels good. Whew, no cross thread this time. That works out perfect. Now we can, like I said, get the axle back in, snug her up. This baby's got to be ready for going slow. I ain't going to tighten it up till we get her on there, but at least it started. Slide her in. Give it a little love tap with the old brass hammer here. right, well, this brake drum, I mean, it wasn't bad at all. The seal wasn't leaking. Everything was clean. I just kind of deglazed the drum, and the brakes should be pretty close to adjusted. Yeah, they're just rubbing. So I'm going to call that adjusted for now. Going to drop the diff fluid in here, and we're done, I think. Well, we got bleed the brakes. Bleed the brake diff fluid, bleed brakes. Well, there we go. I had Mrs. FlatBroke Garage come and bleed the brakes. So the brakes are all set. They did have one of these fancy smancy bags, but I don't know if I really need it right now for this car, because there's a lot of room here. We are full. Yeah, I hope this fixes it. It should. Like I said, everything else, that other axle looked bad, so. The drive shaft still could be out of balance. It still could be vibrating. But either way, this axle was leaking. All the seals were shot. It was not good. So it had to be changed. So let's hope that took care of it. Like I said, if there's a vibration, it still could be up in that drive shaft that we had shortened. But I hope not. Tires on, wheels down. Let's go. Well, ta-da. It's the next day. I'm cleaned up. Garage is kind of cleaned up. Gonna fire the Cyclone up, take it for a drive, and see if my vibration is gone. At least we know we solved an axle problem. That thing was just probably a couple miles away from grenading itself or locking itself up. So that needed to be changed anyways. Did it fix it? We'll see. Let's hop in and fingers crossed. Well, right away I can say the brakes feel better because the back brakes are working. So, already an improvement. You know, earlier in the video I said that we had done the unibody frame and all that like 18 years ago. I've owned the car 18 years. It sat for a while, like most of my stuff does, till I found a unibody, welded it in. It's been 13, 14 years since we did the unibody repair. Well, the AOD works nice. Going down my little side road here, it's only like 20 miles an hour and rough as a dirt road. We'll get this thing out on the highway and see how she does. It feels better. I mean, like I said, the transmission, it works. I mean, the AOD is the way to go. The first gear in AOD is, I believe, way lower than the first gear of a C4. So you get a lot more off the line, and then you got your overdrive for the top end. All right, let's head out on the road. Man, this thing flies with this. Oh, shoot. I still feel a little vibration. It's nothing like what it was, though. Under acceleration, I nailed it when I pulled out, and it was solid. It was good. It pulled good. But now I'm rolling, kind of just gliding along with the torque converter locked up at about 55. It feels all right, but when I let off or I put slack in the drive line, I got a vibration. I don't know if you can hear it in the dashboard or not. There's a big hill coming up. Once I roll down the hill, we'll see. Let's see if it kicks down. There we go. 70 miles an hour, man. This thing, I love this transmission. Definitely an improvement for this car. All I got to do is work the quirks out now. It could be something as simple as, like I said, a U-joint got messed up, or the drive shaft's out of balance. Maybe it shucked the weight off when they welded new weights on after they shortened it. but we're rolling, like I said, 60, 65, and it feels like there's something in the back end. Let me get down this hill here, see if you guys can hear it. All right, we're rolling down a pretty good sized hill now. It's not horrible. There's something there. I just can't put a finger on it. It could actually be the tires. Now, I did clean all the 90 weight and mud that had collected on the inside of the rims. So, I don't know. No, yeah. I guess we're just going to have to drive it a little bit more. And you don't want a driveline vibration, because if you got something wrong with the drive shaft or a U-joint and it's constantly vibrating, that's shaking everything in your transmission, your rear end, your pinion bearing, your output shaft, seal on the transmission. So you don't want that vibration. That's a bad thing. Alright, we just filled up with some really expensive 93 octane gas. Let's drive out to North Carolina. Get it on the highway, get it up to speed. I don't know. I was thinking about pumping the gas. I might try and change the two rear tires. Take the rear tires off the Falcon and put them on this. I just want to eliminate as many things as possible before I pull this drive shaft. Now, pulling the drive shaft isn't a big deal. Getting to Chattanooga drive lines is a 4-hour round trip for me. So if I pull that drive shaft off, there's nothing wrong with it. I got 8 hours of driving. Drop it off, go back, pick it up. So the car seems to be doing pretty good right now. We're up to about 73 miles an hour. It ain't bad. Up to 75 right now. It's turning 2200 RPM. That's perfect for a highway car. Yeah, it just vibrates. It could be them tires. Let's throw another 20 miles on this thing and see how it goes. We took the wheels and tires off the Falcarino, which is my daily driver. This car, me and my wife go everywhere in this car. And this car does not have a single rattle or vibration anywhere on it. Put them on the Cyclone. So was it Cyclorino now? These are the same size tires that were on the car before I pulled them off. The ones on the XR7 wheels. There is not a lot of room. I can't even get a finger in here. And those are factory Ford rims. And in order to get these tires off, you have to jack the car up and let the leaf springs drop, because these tires sit so far into the fender wells. But we're going to take it up for a spin and see if this makes a difference. It kind of looks cool with the steelies on the back, like an old factory drag car, you know, other than their ivy green wheels. Let's go try it out and see if this solves the problem. Oh, that would be so nice if this solves this problem, so I don't have to drive to Chattanooga. All right, well, we got the tires on. Like I said earlier, these are the exact same kind of tires in the exact same size, other than they're on the factory Ford rims and not the, I think the wheels that are on this car are Cougar XR7 wheels, but they're factory Ford or Mercury. So I got co-pilot, Elmer's with me. Just wants to be outside, and I got Nellie, my other dog, behind me. So let's see if the tire balance thing might do something with this. That would be even better. All right, well, those tires definitely do make a difference. It vibrates way less, but I haven't been able to get over 45 or 50 miles an hour because I'm in lap traffic. I got people ahead of me that actually go the speed limit. But so far, vast improvement. So either those rims are bad, they're out of balance, tires are shot, which they are. Yeah, that's a huge difference. Line her up. kind of a solution to a problem that hasn't really gotten bad yet. Let me see. I think I do have a set of Mastercraft, what are these? These are two 1570 14s. You know, those will work. I own them. I don't have to buy them. So I think that might be my plan. Let's put those on, get them balanced. These tires, these have some power tour miles on them. I've been doing some burnouts with them. So yeah, it probably wouldn't hurt to get rid of these tires. Well, there we go. Pretty good solution to my problem. Simple, easy, and not more money and not a lot of driving. I'm gonna have to switch these back. We're gonna throw those 215s on the back. I'm gonna send them out, have them balanced, because I do not own a balancer. And maybe we're gonna go through the front end. Now, there was some other issues that Russ had listed in there. The throttle plate shaft for my carburetor is completely wore out, so it's got a vacuum leak. So I do have a new 650 Holly to put on there. I have new weather strip molding from Repops Industries. Those guys are great. I'll show you some more on them later. I also have another brake issue. Now, all the brakes are new. It's got disc brakes on the front. Sometimes when you hit the brakes, it pulls. Well, the problem, I think, is the control arms are so wore out, the control arms are moving when I hit the brakes. Front end upgrade, carburetor, weather stripping. We should be good for another 18 years. I don't know, we'll see. Car's slowly rusting away around me. I do have quarter panels and doors and stuff for it. I don't have the heart to restore it. I know that sounds stupid, but I just love it the way it is. So as always, if you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. Hit the hype button if it's up for the first week. It's a hype thing on the phone app. I don't know how to do it on the computer thing. And as always, thank you for watching. Thank you for following along. Please subscribe if you haven't. We'll talk to you on the next one.